Broadcasting from Hollywood, California. It's Grant's Rants, Hollywood Talk.
Meghan McCain blames the View audience for being hostile. We review the New Jersey Housewives trailer. Erika Jayne joins Chicago as Roxy Hart. And a new segment takes us back to an iconic night in 2006. That and more with Annabelle De Sisto right here. Let the ranting begin. I am sitting across from, in person, Annabelle De Sisto, the host of the podcast Adderall and Compliments. And we go way back to AfterBuzz TV. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. You know that I am such a fan of you. You are my eyebrow twin. I love you. I think you're one of the funniest, smartest people that I know. So I am honored that I wore you down enough to be on your podcast.
Well, thank you. I know. It's kind of crazy. When I was setting up the microphones, I was like, how is it that she's never been on the show? But
I know.
Here we are.
It's like I was just doing the classic female mistake. If I was like, if the guy's interested, they'll make a move. And then 3 years later, I'm like, well, I'm just going to insist that I'm on the podcast anyway.
Please do. Because these days, I got 4 active shows. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's up, down, sideways. So just anyone listening, knock me over the head. If I owe you something, please let me know.
Yeah, I was harassing you like a Russian bot. Like I was just like, can I be on your podcast? Can I be on your podcast? Can I be on your podcast? And here it is.
Here it is. I'm loving it because we used to go back and forth on the Real Housewives of New Jersey after show at AfterBuzz. And I have very fond memories of you clowning that moment with Caroline on Jacqueline's deck with the coffee colada in hand. That was my all-time favorite moment of recapping with you. Just walking around with the coffee colada. I love it because it's so accurate.
It's so accurate, and it's just so nice to hear. I have never heard that ever when somebody was like, I have very fond memories of you. So that's just nice to hear because it's never happened before. So thank you.
And it involves Caroline Manzo and
a coffee colada and Dunkin' Donuts, my favorite East Coast treat.
Exactly. So I just wanted to mention that because that sticks with me. Whenever I think of that scene, I think of your joke. But I want to get first, let's keep it locked on Real Housewives of New Jersey, and let's talk about this trailer that came out. New Jersey is a little polarizing, but in my opinion, I think the show is in good shape. I think it's been in far worse shape. So I'm like, okay, I'm open. I'm open to this. What was your reaction to this trailer?
I mean, I agree with you when you say it's a very polarizing show. As somebody who is very bipolarizing, I identify with that. You are why I watched this trailer. Oh. And I watched New Jersey every week with you because I had to, but Jersey is my least favorite of the franchise. Okay. So it's like, I watched this for you. I have a visceral reaction to Teresa.
I can relate to that with other housewives. Listeners know which ones.
When we did it, it was obviously, like you said, years ago. So Jennifer was not part of the cast.
Right.
Jennifer brings a whole other level. Not necessarily a good level. I feel like it's more of a lateral move on,
right,
awfulness. When I saw that the Gorgas were talking about possibly having another child, I was
we not?
Jersey, I feel like, I don't know the number. I'm not a mathologist, but for some reason I feel maybe it's just because they're the most annoying. I feel like Jersey has the most kids, or that those kids get the most camera time, because I honestly feel like it's a Guido version of the Duggars. Like, I feel like there was always a kid hanging off a brown wooden cabinet somewhere. They're running behind the scenes. I don't need to see it.
Jennifer has I think 5 kids, and they're all under 13, and one of them is a huge brat, spoiled girl. I'll just say it.
Oh, are you talking about Jennifer?
Yeah. Yeah, that one too.
That's how you know that's a real kid.
I will say that I love Jennifer for this show because, again, for all the wrong reasons. She's so ignorant in all the best ways. In all the best, I mean that in a nice way. I mean, she's not going to know. She's not going to know what I mean.
Oh, no. I mean, you're not her brother who's a jeweler in, Atlantic City. She's not paying attention to you. I have on there that it's this is coming from somebody with a terrible voice. So I recognize, I get what people say, what you don't like in other people, you hate in yourself. I'm I hate myself for a ton of reasons. Don't go there. But it's Jennifer's voice and everything. She's just, I didn't know that they could find somebody more obnoxious than that cast, like more obnoxious than
That's
Siggy
why
Flipper.
I like her, though. Because she's so obnoxious, and she makes an ass out of herself. She's not in on the jokes, which I love. I love that because I don't mind pointing and laughing a little bit because she's all in. This is the biggest thing she has going. So I'm like, all right.
And then like I love her padlock Chanel necklace, and just everything is so exaggerated and gaudy. And it's like, I guess you make a fantastic point, as always, but it's like she is great for the show. I feel like with Housewives, it's so hard because you can hate the person, but they can still be great for the show.
Yep.
Which I guess is like, I guess the point of Housewives is not to like these people.
Right. I mean, I think people could look at Kelly Dodd and say, like, she's like a terrible person. People don't like her.
I'm a terrible person.
People don't like her. But I mean, what else is going on that show? I mean, Vicky's not even on it, so there's really nothing going on. So, and I'm still enjoying it. I mean, let me be real. I mean, I'm always looking forward to that show. I don't know why. I never thought I would ever utter the words "Bring back Vicky Gunvalson." What do you think of Margaret Josephs? I like her a lot. I think she's good for the show.
I love Margaret. I like that she's incredibly honest and just like owns it. I think she's very sweet, and I love that she pushed that guy in the pool. Like and she's like, "Your husband's in the pool," and, and walked out.
Very cool. Yeah, no, I like her a lot for the show. I think that she's a natural fit, and like, thank God for some of those natural fits on the show that keep all of these housewives balanced. Every once in a while, they hit it right. I mean, not always, because some of it's rough, but when they do have it right and it's like a real fit, like a Dorinda on New York, it's like, thank God, like, this makes sense.
Yeah, they found like the major like puzzle piece in the middle that like pulls it all together.
Yep.
You're like, okay, this makes sense.
We're going to see the end of Danielle Staub, which I'm really upset about. I mean, reality TV, now they're kicking people off for being physical. I mean, you know, I'm not advocating for violence, but like,
I am.
We're starting now. Like now we're worried that people are going to try to pull someone's fake hair out, and that's now punishment.
It's like,
get rid of them.
I would like to, like, you know, enact violence on the producers who made that call. It's like, there's different variations of violence. Okay. And obviously if it was, I don't care that it's a double standard. It's not the same if it's like a man versus a woman. When it's a woman versus a woman, especially if it's fake hair, that should also not count as many points as real hair. And also, it's like, that should be part of the audition, is you physically fighting with another woman. That is how reality television was made. Must we forget the goddess of reality television, one Tiffany Pollard, New York? That is like the essence of, like, that's the essence of reality TV.
It's the beginning, yeah. It really is.
So to punish someone for
that's
that.
The thing. And like, on a general note, like, I watched the Atlanta trailer, and I don't have much to say about it, but like, everything is built around these heightened dramatic scenes and these fights. But then when someone pulls someone's fake hair, then they're thrown off. So it's like, you can't have both things. You can't have like this heightened high drama, like boom, 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 boom. And then when someone crosses the line, whatever that imaginary line is, then they get thrown off the show. Like, what is it? Do you want a show that's full of drama, or do you want a show where it's just throwing shade? Like, I don't, you gotta pick a lane.
Do we want an entire like episode of Dolores, bless her heart, very kind, how she has stayed on?
I literally have this note. I really do. I said, for some reason, Dolores is still on. That's why.
Because me and you, like, was it her first season or second season when we?
I think it was her first.
When we did AfterBuzz Reality was New Jersey, and every week we were like, besides her hot son, which at that time he wasn't of age yet, and every time I was like, can somebody do like, because I want a Mary Kay Letourneau countdown of when Frankie is of age. I need it.
Remember this?
I need it going like a New Year's Eve countdown, like Dick Clark time. But it's like how she has managed to stay on, not even as a friend of, a full on. What did they even hold, like a piece of garbage? What did the New York? What did the Jersey?
New Jersey on their hips, their hands on their hips.
Oh,
and they turn in.
It's like if it was very accurate of Jersey, they would just be doing hand motions, like they would
like
be
me.
doing. Like,
that's me. That's what I do behind this microphone the whole time. For those who don't know, it's just me like flailing about.
Yeah, it's like it looks like me and Grant are doing sign language. We're moving our hands so much. It's like that would be authentic Jersey Italian. Like no Italian has their hand on their hips for more than 2 seconds, like before like winding up.
That's just the beginning.
It is a very embarrassing that Danielle is on her, I'm not sure what number, divorce, and I am 30 years old. and I have not been divorced yet, let alone engaged to one time.
Annabelle, I can't get a text back. So, I mean, never mind.
Did you ever watch her sex tape with the onion bagel?
No. I didn't. Now I feel like I had her on the show once, and I feel ill-prepared.
Wow, way to do your research.
I know. I didn't do my research.
I respect you. I think you're the most legitimate person I know when it comes to like professionalism and like accuracy and like history and just how you conduct yourself. To find out you did not watch one Mrs. Staub's
I know. I'm
sex
losing
tape
points.
where she's eating a bagel. Where she's eating an onion bagel.
An onion bagel, having sex.
And it's like, trust me, not for lack of me looking on the dark web, but it's like I've not gotten to see the full video, but it's like the still that you get from like a lot of it. It's like just the freeze frame, like, you know how the YouTube, like the first video is like, it's like a weird freeze
or whatever.
Yeah. It's of her with her mouth kind of half open, eating an onion, like eating an onion bagel.
Love it. There's that New York influence. I love it. I'm done with Joe and this deportation. I will say when I researched for this show, there's something every other week that I could potentially be talking about. I feel like I'm giving the listeners a break. I don't want to talk about it. I keep saying this. I said this early in this part of this year. Just let me know when it's over, and then we'll cover the aftermath. Like every week it's like, is he in a safe house? Is he going to be deported? Is ICE coming after him? Can he see his kids? Did he lose weight? Like, I'm not interested in any of it.
And also, it's like before all the prison stuff happened, it looked like he was going to deport himself. Like when he was like in the vineyards, like calling his like wife like the like beep beeps, you know, because I'm not going to cuss on you. But it's like, honestly, with how many kids they have, with how many dependents they have, I would volunteer to be deported. Listen, you're not in a like kennel cage like people who are actually being deported. Like, count yourself lucky. You're in some like white wife beater, you know, eating salami somewhere. You're fine.
I'm going to run with that.
But I'm over that entire family.
That. Yeah.
I'm over Teresa. I've been over her.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really over the deportation stuff. Like, it was a big part of the trailer. The jeopardy of will he, won't he. I mean, I know this is very real for them, and it's like Grant, screw off because
nothing is very real for them.
Well, that's true. Teresa is still living in that house. I don't know how she maintained
brown house
that
we would always talk about. It was, instead of 50 Shades of Grey, it was 50 Shades of Brown. Just every type of.
I don't know how she maintained to live in that house. She goes to jail. She goes to jail. They buy the house with money. Supposedly they launder through the wire fraud or whatever, and they continue to live in a mansion. I never saw such a thing.
It's still there. The giant fountain that's like the size of fountain, like Central Park, like the ones that they were like dancing in Friends. That's still in their driveway. Nothing has been taken away from them.
Yeah, she put in a brand new pool this summer.
Like,
how do you do that?
They're fine. Like, nothing has been taken, like, our attention and brain cells and, like, our soul as viewers have been taken away watching them, but nothing physically has been taken away from them.
Other than the father, like you said.
Yeah, other than the father and a bunch of weight. Like, okay.
And he's just sitting waiting for the phone to ring. We still don't know. If anyone wants to continue to lose brain cells with me, watch The Real Housewives of New Jersey. It comes back November 6th.
Do you think Teresa is really with a younger guy?
Probably. I mean, if she's that old school, she's not going to be sleeping around with multiple guys. So she probably got a pass and was with one. You mean to tell me someone like her who is so hypersexual hasn't had sex in all these years?
Ugh.
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm guessing, but you know what? The only thing more depressing than that is the Real Housewives of ABC. Now, this is not real, but ABC, The View. You know, my longtime feud, longer than Lisa Vanderpump, longer than anybody else. My original feud stands with 90-year-old Barbara Walters. Yes, I'm awful. I know I'm awful, but I mean, I haven't cared for her in a long time. But The View is next level for me.
Oh my God, I've never heard of somebody being in a feud with like Barbara Walters besides, you know, like R's and S's that she can't say. Like, but I've never heard of.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, this is how you know I'm awful. I mean, for those listening, I gotta be so damn careful. I mean, I'm kidding, but at the same time, like, I really don't care for Barbara Walters. And this show.
Is that why you've never had her on?
Yeah, exactly. And no one knows where she is. Nobody knows she is. She like aged out. I don't know where she is.
She's like a Richard Simmons where you're like, are they alive? Are they like, is it like Zsa Zsa Gabor? You're like, is that person still alive? I don't know.
I read, I'll you know, you're gonna keep your enemies close. So I Google a little bit every once in a while just to see like what became of, has she made any appearances? The last thing I heard that she was actually a recluse. So no one's seen her. She didn't even go to someone's funeral. So, I mean, what else do you do when you're at that age? So that's weird. Anyway, I want to talk about Meghan McCain. She walked off The View after sparring with Anna Navarro, who I don't care for. Meghan McCain says she was on What Happens Live that the live audience is hostile towards her and she receives a lot of booing and heckling. Now, Annabelle, what are your thoughts on Meghan McCain?
Well, at first I was confused. I was like, who is her dad again? Do you know?
John McCain.
Okay, because I hadn't heard her mention it in the last few seconds.
All right. The Queen of Arizona.
It's just what a title. Yes,
know.
It's like when I watched her on Watch What Happens Live with the Queen Kelly Dodd, when she said that the audience was very hostile towards her, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were like in front of like the Jerry Springer audience. No, don't blame the audience. It's like when any like stand-up comedian was like, oh, that audience was terrible. It's like, no, don't blame the audience. It's you. You're the one who's...
That's good advice for if you're, for a performer or figure in front of an audience.
And trust me, I love to put blame on other people. I don't take responsibility for anything because nothing's my fault. And it's not a lie if you believe it. And I truly think that. But it's like for her, no, don't blame the audience. Do you honestly think it's 320 days a year? I don't know how many Jewish holidays there are. I don't know how many days they film. But do you think it's that many times that like magically every day of the year, the audience was horrible and against me? Or instead of that, you're just a horrible person. And I cannot stand her. I think I have another visceral like reaction to her where it's just like, how dare you speak to Joy like that? One day, I just wish like Joy or Whoopi would like just like backhand her, like put her in her place. I'm sorry.
My rant against her is I think she actually really like. They need her on the show because everyone else is talking the same speak and they're on the same level and it's very boring.
Yeah.
I mean, even Anna Navarro, I think it's like a joke. She calls herself a conservative and she's got basically the same view as Whoopi Goldberg, who's as left as they come. So I don't really get how she's considered a conservative and I don't think she has a place on the show. She's also auditioned to be on the show several times. Now they just put her on Fridays.
I would be very interested in how it would go if they replaced her with Dave Navarro and see what the different chemistry is. Exactly. What is he doing? Every time I'm like, is my Uber driver Dave Navarro? I can't tell. But I agree with you. It's like the only reason I even see clips of The View is because of Meghan McCain, of like her walking off.
Exactly. It's always because of the Meghan hook. Can I just say, like, they pander the audience so much on The View and I just don't see like that Jerry Springer audience. I see like middle America,
it's
women
a
of a
sea of
certain
Chicos.
age.
It's a sea of Chicos and soft surroundings catalog.
Husband and wives that are in New York for like the week. They're staying at a Marriott nearby. Like this is the big event. Like I'm not seeing like people that like
they have tickets to Hairspray.
Yeah.
They're like, this just came out. I'm so excited. It's like, was it a tweet that you put out or like that you Facebook where you were like, my dream is to be an audience member of The View? So they cut to like a facial reaction of me. Was that you?
I live for that.
Okay.
I live for the moment to actually go to The View. I actually got tickets. I thought I was denied. They actually sent them to an old email of mine. So it was probably my own fault for giving them the wrong one. But like, I was so close. Like it's been a dream of mine because I just want to get in a wide shot and I just want to get a full eye roll in. That's like that would be my Twitter photo. Like that would be an accomplishment for me. Just to be sitting, everyone there is, clapping like, they're like hypnotized, because they're told to clap, these studio audiences. And I'm just going to sit there and go, oh. I want to do that so bad.
And then you can become like a GIF because some of like the most famous GIFs are like, it's like this like old black lady and it was from, it's a GIF of like her in the Wendy Williams studio.
Yes.
Where it's just like, she just like kind of looks at the camera and just like rolls her eyes slowly, which is like a GIF that's like one of the most commonly used on Twitter. But it's like,
it would be an honor.
I've been a zoom in on, not to brag, but my top television credits have been like facial reactions in the Wendy Williams studio.
You've been to Wendy, right? I remember seeing this 3 times. I would love to go there, but I got to get The View off my list first.
I love her. Wendy will forever be my queen. I went to go see her in Vegas. I'm doing Dr. Evil air quotes. You guys can't see it. Stand up. My mom and I both flew in for it. I went to her book signing. Like I'm a Wendy stan. Like I love her.
Didn't she just cancel the rest of her comedy tour?
It's devastating. It's a huge loss to the comedy world.
Promotional consideration for this episode of Grant's Rants is provided by FabFitFun. Support the podcast. The 2019 FabFitFun Fall Box is on sale now. It's the perfect way to treat yourself and others with a carefully curated box of products, including full-size, premium, beauty, lifestyle, fitness, home, and wellness products. As you know, I sent a box over to my sister, and she had so many things for the home that she enjoyed, especially a dual salt pepper mill, which, looks fancy and makes her kitchen look legit. We still can't get over how much she received in that box. I'm happy that I could really give her some products like Aveda and other things that she normally wouldn't purchase on her own. These seasonal FabFitFun subscription boxes sell out pretty fast, probably because it retails for $49.99, but it always has a value of over $200. Coupon code GrantsRants gives you $10 off your first box. That's fabfitfun.com. Coupon code GrantsRants for $10 off.
You're listening to Grant's Rants. Subscribe and spread the word. There are a lot more rants to come. Listen anytime on all major podcasting platforms. And now, back to the show.
And we're back on the show with Annabelle De Sisto. And we got a lot to say here. I'm enjoying this because it's like I have such loose notes, and I'm so glad I do. Because, the conversation's just moving. You know what I mean?
Oh, good. I'm like, I don't know how much you can actually use of it. I think you can use my intro where you say my name, and maybe the outro where you're just plug your social media handles, because I don't know how much I've said that you're able to use, but I'm honored to be here.
Well, it's like I say recently, this show is unpopular opinions found here from me. Really, people I'm not going to be I don't really pull the Bravo card all the time where it's we love everybody. We're celebrating all these shows. I don't really love everybody, and I have an opinion.
I love that you
buy
say
everything that you sell to me.
I love that you say you're I have the unpopular opinion here, and I'm I'm just unpopular in general. I'm just unpopular across the board. So this is
I love it. This show's off the rails. I love it. I want to talk about...
it's like Sonia's cat burlesque, where you're what is happening?
Yeah, you're just going to let it go. Oh, my God. I have to talk about Erika Jayne. The theme song to your podcast, Adderall and Compliments. Clearly you're a fan, right?
I'm a fan of that. She has not sent me a cease and desist order. It's thank God she's not married to a lawyer or something. That would be really bad.
God, yeah.
But it's I'm just always expecting this is the episode that Erika's going to be fun. This is it.
Yeah.
And it's nope. I'm how, to be surrounded by that many queens and to look like that. You expect a Nene, a Nene, Lisa Rinna, fun, talking in gifs and bloop, bop, bop,
right. A few good talking heads, at least a gif.
She takes herself so seriously. Every confessional is inside the actor's studio Meisner technique of you have a fake name. How are you?
Right.
Your song is called Pat the Pussy. How are you this serious?
Now she's going to be, Erika Jayne herself will be Roxy Hart on Broadway. And that show, by the way, has been on forever. And I looked it up. It's actually the second longest running musical on Broadway. I saw it when I was in middle school. And I go there, and they're still the girls are dressed like they are in Chicago, and they're in Times Square handing out. I'm how is this? How are they filling that theater? All these
they
years
have
later?
barkers. Oh, they have they make the girl. Oh,
yeah, they do.
This is coming from somebody who had to be I'm not sure if it's the same thing for Broadway shows, but when comedians have to go out and do come to a comedy show,
Yeah.
They're called barkers. Somebody who had to be a barker for one day for Villa Blanca, I can tell you it is mortifying. But it's
God.
I never saw the live show because I know that I would be disappointed compared to the movie, because it's not going to be the movie.
Right. The movie is my all-time favorite, to be honest. I've talked about this before. That it really is the ultimate. So it's hard to watch show. It's a little bit of a different show. There are different musical numbers in and out of it.
It's I saw The Little Mermaid on Broadway. Huge mistake. Huge. Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Huge mistake. Huge. Should have never done it. Awful. My dad, we were sitting in the front row, which shows you how few people wanted to go because we paid $50 when we were in the front row. And my dad was asleep by literally the end of the opening song. And my dad is a 350-pound Italian man, could be an extra for Real Housewives of New Jersey and snores incredibly loud. And I feel so bad that these actors who have dedicated their entire life to the theater are watching my dad in like shorts sleep. I was like, I felt so horrible.
Oh my God. Well, it can't be worse than that SpongeBob attempt they tried to make. I mean, even that I couldn't be bothered with. But, Erika Jayne, would you go to New York to see Erika Jayne play Roxy Hart in Chicago?
I wouldn't go outside my apartment to see Erika Jayne.
You sound like my mom.
But it's
That's what she says about everybody. She hates all celebrities.
I thought Roxy Hart was like, because Erika Jayne's what, like 47?
I'm going to look 48? It up, but let's.
But in her 40s.
Yes, I would say she's definitely in her 40s. Yeah.
I thought Roxy was a younger character because like Velma's supposed to be older than Roxy. So it's like, is Barbara Walters in training for Chicago and that's why we haven't seen her?
Well, then
and
I'm going to have to go. That if Barbara Walters is somewhere, I'm going to have to go because I'm going to have to report.
You're going to heckle her?
I'm going to have to report on it. But I might heckle. I might. I don't know. Wasn't Luann supposed to be in Chicago?
I thought Luann was supposed to either be Velma or... I thought she was supposed to be Velma. And it's like when the news came out that Erika was going to be in it, I'm like, who is with Luann on Mimosa Watch? Because I see this sending her over the edge.
Mm-hmm. As far as the show goes, I mean, will it appear? Will Erika prepping for Chicago appear on Beverly Hills Housewives? One article says that it will. And this just, for me, further removes Erika from the show itself, which she's like, doesn't want to be a part of anyway. She's not a part of any conversation. She just sits at a dinner table. You only see her in a wide shot. I mean, they don't even cover it. There's no coverage on her. No, so now she's in New York performing. I mean, why even bother keeping her on the show? I lobbied on this show that they should just make her a friend of. Now she's going to be, because the show opens at the beginning of January. So I assume production will go till the end of the year. So she's off. Forget it.
You're supposed to be a fun, cool girl.
Right. Yeah, what happened to that one?
I'm just so down to earth. No, you're not.
For anyone interested, the show premieres on January 6th. It goes to the end of March. Good for her. Good for her. I mean, now, I'd be more interested if she was on with Lou. I mean, that'd be great. That'd make for some great marketing because it'd be like, what the hell is this?
I would pay more than Hamilton tickets if it was.
There you go. And stick in like Portia as Mama Morton because like the Atlanta cast has kind of rotated through that role.
Yes. I mean, Nene has been in 3 Broadway shows?
Oh.
Yeah. This says a lot for.
She has?
Says a lot for the Tonys.
What I want to get into, out of all things, a new segment.
It's Grant's Rants, Old Hollywood Talk.
Let's discuss this. This is a new segment I want to add to the show. For those who listen back to the 100th episode, which was the live show, I covered the top 10 most influential moments of my life in pop culture and what shaped this show. I'm not going to necessarily go through all of them, but I want to cover moments looking back and really kind of giving information, details about it, and then how it's really influenced where we are today in the current landscape. And I think the best place to start, celebrating a defining American pop culture moment, looking back at what made this moment in history truly iconic, starts with Paris, Lindsay, and Britney getting into that car that rainy night in November. There's a lot of details here, so we're going to get into it. November 2006, 14 years ago, Britney and Paris left Guys. I don't know what that is today in West Hollywood. And what else happened? They then went to the bungalows, the Beverly Hills Hotel, for an after party, of course. And there's that iconic photo of the three of them. Listeners know I have it in my apartment. What's the story behind it? We're going to get into it. I have all the details. So let's start off by taking a listen to the audio. This is provided by X17 Online Video, where Paris is questioned about hitting Lindsay the night prior.
Paris, did you hit Lindsay?
Yeah, ticket. Yeah, ticket.
Ask her. She's right there.
Ticket.
Lindsay, tell them the truth.
Lisa, what's going on, Lisa? Tell us.
Never. Lindsay, she's my friend. Everyone lies about everything. She's a nice person. Please, leave us alone.
So you're friends?
We see Lindsay. She's walking with Elliot Mintz randomly.
Oh my God, where is he? Is he still alive?
He's still alive. I don't know how, if he still works with her.
Yeah,
I imagine they had to part ways, I imagine.
You need to have him on.
Oh, I don't think he'd do this.
Are you kidding? He's another one where I'm like, is he an Uber driver? Is he panhandling on the street? You don't think he'd gladly come into like a nice air conditioned apartment where you're offering him water?
That's all I'm offering.
I was going to say, go check out where's the closest YMCA.
Oh, let me look him up. Let me see what's going on with him.
Grant, you need to.
He's 74.
I mean, so a little bit younger than the type I go for, but you could.
He's still alive. This is my point. He's still there. He's still alive. So okay, I'm open. I'm trying to get Dina on this show. I aim high. So Dina Lohan, trying to get her on the show. Years later, Paris appeared with Andy Cohen on Sirius XM, where he asked her about that night. She insists that Lindsay had crashed the scene, and she basically, quote, chased them down, which I can totally picture Lindsay like trying to get in on that all the way. And of course, Lindsay refutes all of this, but I believe Paris. And the press really ripped into this. There were headlines. I believe TMZ called it the Holy Trinity. New York Post called it the Bimbo Summit. Very progressive.
God, New York Post.
And the New York Post, I've decided that out of all the publications, I went back. I did like the time, you can go back and see the old internet, like it's like a time machine. You can go back and see like web pages and how they looked like in 2002, 2006.
Remember when they used to have like the dripping letters, like when you'd go to a web page and like the letters would like drip down the page.
That's the stuff you can go back and see. So I want to see how this story was covered in 2006 when it happened. And I thought, you know what, New York Post is going to cover it best. Perez Hilton had lousy coverage on it. TMZ, you actually can't find it. They reference it 11 years later, but you can't find the original article, which is odd that they took it down.
Harvey Levin, stop sipping on that smoothie and like restore the files.
This is an archive that's like very important.
It's like Area 51.
Yeah,
it's
this
like,
why
were these files taken down,
right.
And what does it mean?
Well, the New York Post still has it, thank God. And their headline, so it said what did it say? It said Bimbo Summit on the cover of the New York Post, but the actual article is much deeper. 3 bimbos of the apocalypse. No clue, no cares, no underwear. Meet the party posse of the year. Published November 29th, 2006, 5 a.m. Here's a little excerpt of the article. They, which is all in caps, they have already been dubbed the Brit Pack. 3 girls increasingly famous for making spectacularly bad choices, marshalling their collective brain power to navigate the booths and banquets of Hyde and Spider Club, or wherever it is they're drinking it off on any given night. Paris Hilton, her frenemy Lindsay Lohan, and newly separated Britney Spears, 3 party girls without a care. Babies? What babies? A high tolerance for alcohol or a good publicist? I love how salacious it is.
The words this queen used, who wrote it? Was it male or female?
Maureen Callahan.
That could be a pen name.
Anybody.
The words is like spectacular. It's like she's trying to win at Scrabble. The words she used for this.
I know.
And the word bimbo. It's like, I don't know if you've ever heard John Mulaney, who's like one of my favorite comedians ever, when he was talking about the Post. He's like, the Post writes in such like a ridiculous way. He's like, right. It's basically like if you grabbed any person like off the street and you were like, hey, what happened today? And you would just like had some like random person been like, oh, I don't know. I guess this is bimbos. I don't know. It's like the word bimbo. Who even uses the word bimbos besides like our grandmother or like our like
right, 3 bimbos. I don't know where they came. Like I can see like so many other not PC things they could say about this.
Especially it's like in the aughts.
Today it lives in the form of the sun visor. The sun visor that you can put in your car is the picture of the 3 of them. It retails for $30 to $45, which I would pay $30 for that.
Oh, I've spent way worse money. I spent money on way worse things than that.
I'm hoping someone will buy it for me. I mean, the holidays are coming, but I think I should just buy it for myself because I think I need this.
Don't you have like Grant group? Well, I guess I'm like, don't you have like Rants group, like rupees, like
I don't know. I don't have my address.
Don't you have bimbos who follow you who send you gifts? Don't you have gimbos? Yeah. That's what I would call them.
I would love to know though, like how this story would be covered today. Like given that, like like it's different. If this was 14 years ago.
Well,
like,
first of all,
would it even be covered?
None of them would be driving. No one would be. It would be like them filing into like their Uber Black.
Right.
But it's when I saw that you were bringing this up as like a subject, I was like, oh, this is like my personal like Mount Rushmore. This is, I think,
The
more
three of them in
iconic.
the car. Yep.
This is such an iconic picture. I don't care about, like, for our generation, we don't care about the sailor kissing like that nurse in Times Square. I don't care. This is more iconic. This is more historical, and this is more important. Like a day that will live in infamy.
This is truly iconic, and I actually hate that word because it's used so loosely now. But what I'm covering here, when we're looking back at iconic events, they register. They register as iconic. It's not just what someone said it was. Like, people make all these, like, what someone performs once on the VMAs, and they're iconic. Give me a break.
Yeah, the Vanguard Award means nothing now.
This is the truth, and this is extremely iconic for me, so much so that it's the only image I have other than ones of my friends and family in my home. And that's how much this means to me. And I would love to have that sun visor. So what is this?
No, if I had to
me?
have, 3 people tattooed on me, like I love my parents, but
This
it's like
exists as a tattoo. People have this tattooed. I mean, it's ridiculous, but
it's like it is iconic.
it is iconic. And like, it's a rainy night. Paris is running the show, driving the car. Lindsay slips in. Britney doesn't say 2 words.
And you know that I have a very special connection to Paris. For my 16th birthday, Paris Hilton used to have a club in Orlando called Club Paris. It was like the first club I ever snuck into. And I got a pink car. I had my first car painted pink because I was so obsessed with Paris and I wanted the pink color of like The Simple Life. And we had like cardboard cutouts. We got it like Spencer's gift of like Paris and Nicole Richie around.
Oh my God.
It was so embarrassing, but I stand by it. I love her. I got a Chihuahua because of her that I brought to school. We had to do like a book report on like an autobiography. So obviously like people chose, who cares about Ben Franklin? Cool, you put a key on a kite? I don't care. I did Confessions of an Heiress by Paris Hilton, and I brought my dog to school. And I went to school in Florida, so that's how much they didn't care. I had a dog with me all day, and they didn't even notice till last period. I'm like, I've had a dog in a hot pink sweater all day.
I love that. I mean, that book was iconic too. My sister had that book. I remember she like lent it out to her friends. Everyone wanted to read that book.
Yeah, last book I read. I read the classics.
So where are they today? So Paris Hilton, basically up to the same stuff. She was just at New York Fashion Week. She's still an international brand. Her life remains unchanged. Meanwhile, Lindsay, over on The Masked Singer in Australia, new song Xanax. I love Xanax.
She's a judge on The Masked Singer.
Judge, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I watched some other clips.
Not even U.S. Not even.
No. Oh. No. But she's got this new song Xanax that I love, and I think Lindsay is still trying to rebound to these days. I think she's still trying to get to that where she was on the list as of November 2006. I mean, it looks that way. She hasn't given up, but she's nowhere near this. She's not booking movie deals like she did then. She's not walking around with Elliot Mintz at a random hour on the Beverly Hills hotel property.
I honestly, she should just go back to Kitson and model for like Dorit's,
Perfect. No, because at least Beverly Hills Housewives has an international audience. The Masked Singer doesn't.
What a stupid what a stupid show. Like, whenever anyone thinks that you have a bad idea, not even in entertainment, like whatever office job you have, if you are embarrassed to bring up your idea to your boss, number one, think that Sharknado was made and it's on like its 8th one.
Yeah, several times.
The Masked Singer of people who are wearing giant peacock heads and being judged by like, Ken from The Hangover. And Jenny McCarthy.
Yeah, that was the best thing to happen to Jenny McCarthy in a long time. Good for her.
I hope somebody takes off the head and it's like, I'm a doctor with actual proof of like vaccines, and she'd be like, like
that would be the biggest reveal yet.
That would be it.
And lastly, of course, my girl Britney. She's on this work hiatus. She's fighting the conservatorship. It's dark days, but all of it really stems from this period. Britney is still paying for the sins of this night, this era, 06, 07. I mean, somehow this night is still relevant and rippling through her life as it is mine. So this is a moment in pop culture history. I'm so glad I could profile this on the Rants. You never know what I'll do next if I cover more, which I plan to, but it might not be every week. But I want to do a deep dive into these moments because they mean something.
I love it. It's Pearl Harbor. It's like obviously a traumatic event. The real one. Also, more traumatic was that horrible movie. That was even horrible. But it's like I got so excited when I saw Kevin Federline. I met him last year on the Minions ride at Universal. And I was like staring at this guy. I'm like, oh my God, I think that's Kevin Federline. I think it's Kevin Federline. And I like went up to him.
Really? What was it like? Well, I
was with my friend who's like a radio like DJ. And I don't know if you remember his hit song, Popo Zao.
I don't.
Well, you call yourself a pop culture historian.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I don't. I blocked all that out. Really, though. Such dark days for Britney.
He came out with a song called Popo Zao that like actually like played on the radio. And so my radio friend like went up to him and like literally chased him through the park. He's like put on like 50 pounds. But still like I knew it was him. And she went up and she's like, I just have to say, Popo Zao changed my life. And I like literally have video of her saying it. And like he thought she was like making fun of him, which I'm sure he gets like a lot.
Right.
But she was being like very serious. And he was like, oh, thanks. She's like, I'm a huge fan. I'm so sorry for what you're going through. I saw on Instagram. I'm so sorry about the forest fire. Because she was like then talking about the wildfires.
She cornered him.
And then, she cornered him like by like the churro stand. Like, but he was very pleasant, very kind.
Was he with his sons, I assume?
Yes, he was with the new wife. And I was like, where's Jaden James? Where's Sean Preston?
Yeah. The Minions ride. Oof.
I was like, I wish I had an autograph book. I wish I had one of those Universal books. I'd be like, can I get your autograph? Can you get your autograph, Sean Preston?
Oh my God.
I saw you grow up. I saw Britney drive with you on her lap while she was driving a car.
Moment. I know. Another really iconic photo. I just think it's interesting that I can't imagine they would cover an event like this at all these days. Maybe it would pop up on Instagram. It would maybe pop up on like a pop music blog. But I mean, for the time, this was like huge. This was everywhere.
This was like the first like crotch shot. Like this became like
yes, it was. All I know is I went back and looked at the archives. All the stories around this time were all about Britney, Paris, Lindsay, and Rosie O'Donnell because that's when she was hosting The View. And that was like the extent of it. Like that. No wonder why this was my life because that was all that was reported. Or like, and then that's when Clay Aiken was known as Gaykin back then. So like that was that era of time.
Because like Britney got out of the car without any like underwear on, and that was like kind of like one of the most iconic crotch shots of our time.
TMZ and Perez Hilton at this time were they were basically just covering these three nonstop. There was very little else that they covered. Now it's so broad. I can't even imagine this would get picked up. I feel like Paris Hilton, I can't even imagine like TMZ or The Blast even reporting on anything she's doing now.
And now Perez like doesn't even draw, offensive things on people's faces. Like now he draws like peace signs or whatever. He's like a dad of I don't know how many.
I still can't support him.
He's like, I've met him a few times. He's always such a jerk to me. Always.
I bet. Yeah, I don't really have any respect for Paris Hilton.
I was really searching for that word. I wanted to call him so many other mean things. I'm like, oh, what's a nice word that Grant? Jerk. What a bimbo. What a bozo.
Exactly. Oh, man. Well, thank you for joining me on this ride to 2006. And if you want to join Annabelle over on her podcast, you can find it wherever podcasts are found, I would assume, correct?
Yes.
Adderall
if you want to find a ride that's worse than Lindsay Lohan driving drunk, it's like that type of ride. You're like, this is a disaster. But if you're into that, you can go listen to Adderall and Compliments on iTunes, and you can follow me on Instagram. I put out a lot of quality, Instagram stories featuring my cats. So that's prime content at Annabelle De Sisto. And Grant, I forced him, I peer pressured him into doing Adderall and Compliments after this, so you can go listen to Grant's episode.
Yes, thank you for that. And thank you guys for listening. Oh, no, I don't mean that in a shady way.
No, that's exact reaction. But it's like I have Grant, I have Spencer Pratt, I have,
Oh, God. You have me. Why would you want me when you can have him?
Well, he bailed on me today. That's why I'm so happy you were
Oh, so I'm the Spencer recast. Okay.
No, I'm kidding. No, you aren't you're not the understudy for Spencer.
Oh.
That was Elliot Mintz. You were... Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll be back for more rants. It's just a crazy time right now with some work, so I may take a week off or two, but I'll be back as always with more rants. And also, don't forget, hey, check out FabFitFun. Use code GrantsRants.
This has been Grant's Rants. Support the Rants on Patreon at patreon.com/GrantsRants. Follow Grant on Twitter and Instagram at It's Grant's Rants. Cover art created by RHONJ. Voiceover by Aw Yeah! Original theme music by Alexander Arntzen. The Grant Michael Collection.